Did you know that September is Vermont's River Cleanup Month? Volunteers all over the state will be rolling up their sleeves and their pant legs to spruce up their favorite stream. Local groups are already starting to organize events, and you can find out what's happening in your area at www.watershedsunitedvt.org/VT River Cleanup. Let the coordinators know that you're eager to volunteer, or chip in and organize your own cleanup. I'm Ann Ingerson, Program Coordinator for Watersheds United Vermont. We're a network of local groups working to improve the health of Vermont's watersheds. This year, Watersheds United is helping to organize and coordinate river cleanups around the state. Vermont's network of waterways, large and small, support recreation and tourism, natural habitat, agriculture, transportation, human health. Waters also carry away our landscape's leftovers. Raindrops that fall on ridgelines and rooftops come together and grow and eventually empty into our largest and best known rivers and lakes. On the way, they flow through forests, fields, villages, and busy downtowns. Unfortunately, they pick up pollutants and trash along the way. The purpose of River Cleanup Month is to clear away some of that trash. Watersheds are like those sets of Russian dolls that fit one inside another. The very smallest might feed a headwater stream way up in the mountains. The very largest include all of Vermont's waters, which flow either north into the St. Lawrence or south into Long Island Sound. In between are medium-sized watersheds like the Winooski, the Black, and the Missisquoi. We'll hear from the groups who've adopted those three rivers. Ann Smith from Friends of the Winooski, Kelly Stettner from Black River Action Team, and Wendy Scott and Cynthia Scott from Missisquoi River Basin Association have years of river cleanup experience to share with us.
I'm Ann Smith, the Executive Director of the Friends of the Winooski River. The Friends of the Winooski River is dedicated to the restoration and protection of the Winooski River watershed. The Winooski is the largest watershed in the Lake Champlain Basin. It covers 12% of Vermont's land area. 1 in 3 Vermonters lives in the Winooski watershed. It's also a very diverse watershed, encompassing the most urbanized area of the state, as well as small towns, farmlands, and forested valleys. The Friends, in keeping with the diversity of the watershed, pursue a wide variety of projects in support of our mission. This includes streamside protection and restoration, water quality monitoring, stormwater management mitigation, habitat improvements, and education. We work in partnership with many nonprofits and government agencies. We work with our local municipalities on many projects that protect not only the river, but also local infrastructure. One of our long-standing projects has been river cleanups. Rivers are a magnet for trash and debris that is not only unsightly and dangerous for recreation, but can negatively impact water quality and habitat. The sad reality is we can clean the same sections of river year after year and still come back and find incredible amounts of debris. The Friends have been organizing cleanups for nearly 20 years that involve dozens of volunteers each year. Each year, these volunteers pull scores of tires and tons of metal and trash from the river and its tributaries. This year, the Friends will be organizing several cleanups along sections of the river and its tributaries in the Barre-Montpelier area on September 12th. We're hoping to get repeat volunteers as well as a bunch of new volunteers out in the river. I don't know what it is about getting wet and muddy, but river cleanup volunteers always seem to have a great time. In September, the river is often very low and warm, so this can be a great family volunteer day. Another thing we are planning this year is a river junk art project. We hope to engage artists and students in crafting sculpture from the junk that's pulled from the river. In addition to the usual array of tires, bicycles, and shopping carts, River cleanups often yield an array of objects that can make for interesting art. The Winooski is a large watershed, so we can't do this ourselves. We hope that other organizations, whether it's a business, a civic organization, or a town, will organize a cleanup on their local stream. This year, thanks to Watersheds United of Vermont and its river cleanup sponsors, there's additional resources to help with those efforts. If you're interested in learning more about the cleanup efforts in the Winooski watershed, please contact the Friends at info@winooskiriver.org or give us a call at 882-8276.
Back in the year 2000, I was crossing along the bridge there by McDonald's with my husband and our new little daughter. She wasn't even 2 years old yet. And I always like to look in the rivers. Rivers are fun to me, they're exciting, they're mysterious. I wanted to see what was swimming around in there. And instead of finding beavers and fish and turtles, I found shopping carts and tires and cement blocks. And I got kind of annoyed, and I made the mistake of saying out loud what I was thinking, which was that that's terrible, and somebody should really do something about that. Because my husband elbowed me in the ribs and said, well, you're somebody. The first year we had 3 volunteers, including my husband and the 2-year-old, and we pulled out about a dozen shopping carts, handful of tires, some bags of junk, yard sale signs, whatever. And it was really exhausting. And the next year we had some high school kids helping out, and a really nice guy named Steve Aikenhead from Wethersfield showed up with these kids in tow. A couple more employees, co-workers showed up. And we were behind what was then Price Chopper here in the plaza. And we pulled out about 70 shopping carts that year because it was a dump site. I call it a spawning migration site for the shopping carts. And just every year we do a little bit more volunteers, we do a little more trash cleanup, we broaden the scope. Let's see, one year we found a bubblegum machine full of trolls. There's been some less pleasant things that we found. I won't get into details. But, you know, road signs, stuff that blows in, stuff that falls in, stuff that got flooded in. And there's obviously the shopping carts. They obviously found their way in by human means, intentionally. But we keep working at it, you know, and we have more fun with it as we go.
It's fun. I came last year. It's one of these things I keep meaning to do since I knew her through community theater. And it's fun. It's good. It gets you outdoors and doing something useful that needs to be done.
The Bratz River Sweep is a family-friendly event with fun, food, and festivities. For 2015, River Sweep will encompass 2 separate work days so that volunteers can lend a hand in different locations. Volunteers can help in Springfield on Saturday, September 12th. Ludlow volunteers will gather a week later at 8 a.m. on Saturday, September 19th.
Hi, my name's Wendy Scott, and this is Cynthia Scott, and we are both board members of the Missisquoi River Basin Association, otherwise known as MRBA. We do several different projects in our group, but one of the ones that we do is river cleanup once a year.
MRBA started in about 1996 when a group of concerned citizens got together to talk about water quality in the Missisquoi River and Missisquoi Bay and what they could do about it. And we've been meeting regularly and doing projects ever since then. Most of our projects are field projects and involve volunteers. Stream bank restoration, tree planting and such. We collect water samples. We do a program called Bug Works, which we bring to the schools. And we do river cleanups. We found some really interesting things over the years. The usual things tend to be a lot of ag plastic, pop bottles, coffee cups, chip bags, that kind of things, tons and tons of tires. But then we'll also find really weird things. One time we found a vacuum cleaner complete with hose. Another time we found an attaché case. Unfortunately, it wasn't full of money or anything interesting, but it was just interesting to see it. Oh, baby seats. I mean, you know, all sorts of weird and wonderful things. I guess the most memorable, the one that really stands out and that we all laugh about, is a couple of summers ago, we found a couch. And this was Keith from Montgomery, who wrestled this couch from the riverbank onto his canoe, and it was straddling the bow. Wow. And he brought it down, and then we all helped carry it out, and it was dumped at the local at Coventry. But it was just interesting to see this big, huge couch being abandoned on the riverbank. That's the problem, is that people see the river as a dumping ground. You know, they don't want this junk anymore, and so they just push it over the edge of the bank. They don't see it anymore, and they hope it gets washed downstream. And often it does, and so then it's not their problem anymore. But it's unsightly, and that's why we do river cleanups.
One of the reasons that we do river cleanups is that it's a great way to build community, and for community members to get to know that particular stretch of river which they may have not ever paddled on or seen from the perspective of the river. We want to have people in different towns along the river join us and participate in the river cleanup. When we paddle down, aside from picking up whatever's there, we can learn about, or we can teach people about what's necessary for a healthy, clean river.
The Friends, BRAT, and MRBA, like dozens of watershed groups around the state, depend on volunteers to plant trees, test water quality, and of course pick up river trash. And that's where you come in. You can get involved with river cleanups in 3 different ways. You can volunteer for an existing event, organize your own, or report a stretch of river that needs cleaning up. Check out our website, www.watershedsunitedvt.org/VT River Cleanup, to find out how you can get involved. Volunteer today, and we'll see you on the river in September.